Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel, Cinema Corner. Here we will be talking film, we'll be talking TV, basically trying kuondoa vumbi kidogo kwa the silver screen, trying to understand who are these behind the screen, and even those ones that we see in front of the screen, try to understand what it is that they do behind that screen, what they do before, after, na experience yao kwa industry. So today we are privileged to have Patrick Oketch. Of course wengi mnamjua ka Uncle Charlie. So today we have Patrick Oketch. So leo amekam kutupatia the story of Patrick Oketch. Karibu sana. So where did the journey begin?
Well, where do I start? I always start my story by telling people what they don't know. Most people do not know that I am actually a teacher by training. Okay, a few maybe might have heard about it, but yes, I am a trained teacher. That is where my background really is. But as far as film is concerned, it came not as an accident really, but as a passion, something I really wanted to do. When I started acting, it was against the current. It was, growing up with parents who were civil servants, they believe you're supposed to go to school, get good grades, go to university, whatever college, come out, get a good job. So basically you're supposed to come out and be employed. So for you to concentrate in school, you don't have to do activities. So being involved in drama or music or any kind of sport was actually frowned upon at home, and so it was totally discouraged. But for me, doing drama was some kind of a rebellion. I would go do drama, get awards, and hide them.
So in short, wewe ndo ulikuwa kichwa ngumu home?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
It doesn't help that I'm actually the firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are 5 boys. Boys, no girls. So it would be like you go to school, you're told go to school, concentrate on your studies, get good grades, come out. I mean, it's like your life has already been planned out. It's like there's a formula to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was seeing more than just that. I was seeing more than just being employed and do an 8 to 5 and follow these set rules, and everything you need in life has already been written out for you. I mean, basically, from the Constitution to the Bible to the code of conduct at workplace. So, I mean, there's no room for you for anything else. And for me, that was one of the reasons why I felt I would do something that would totally go against the grains. And that, for me, became performing.
So, you've taken us back, so at what point were you able to face your parents and, tell them this is what I want to do? Was it a conversation? Nama ilikuwa tu waligundua by
first of all, well, my dad passed when we were still young. I was 10 years old, so basically most of my life I was brought up by mom. And she was struggling to bring up these 5 boys. And she did well, because, I mean, all of us went to school. So that is why she wanted the best for us. And according to her, the best for us was do well so that someone will be able to employ you.
So how did you like face your parents? How did they come to find out about what you were, that your interest was in performance?
Uh, it was not a surprise to them because it's something they knew I wanted. Basically, my mom knew I really wanted to do theater and stuff like that. And, it was one of those things you're told, nisipate ukifanya hivi. Not because they know you will not, but because they suspect you will actually still do it. And I started performing in high school, mid to late 90s, all the way to...
ulikuwa high school ama secondary school?
Anywhere they teach biology is still high school.
Shule gani hiyo?
I was in Oriwo Boys, in Homa Bay County, within Rachuonyo or Karachuonyo. So that is where I was. But my whole life, I've been born and brought up in Nairobi. Yeah, I was born in Mathare, and my parents were living in Mathare. Then we moved from Mathare to Ngei. From Ngei, we went to Mbotela. From Mbotela, we moved to Isli. From Isli, we went to Embakasi. So now it is in Embakasi where I stayed longest. I stayed in Embakasi for 22 years of my life.
Wow. So in short, wewe ni mtu wa Islando.
Kabisa.
Did Islando have anything to do with interest yako ya performing arts? Ama that is something that you'd say is inborn?
Not really. The Islando where we were was not really like where there was a lot of this, like say Maringo or Mbotela, where there's a lot of traditional dances and performances, Or basically most of the Islandos where you find that is where there are a lot of influence from the city council kind of housing, where there's a social hall or a football pitch where people would go and do this kind of thing. In Bakassi, of course, there was a social hall, but there wasn't much of performance. Actually, I can say I am part of the people who introduced performance in Embakasi.
Ah, okay.
Yes. After high school, with a few friends, we registered a self-help group by the name Mizizi Africa. Nowadays, I see so many Mizizi Africas around. I'm like, that was my name.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Sa hiyo Mizizi mlikuwa na watu wa mtaani?
Yeah, vijana tu wa mtaani. Yeah, we would do like community outreach programs during the World AIDS Day, Water Day, Day of the African Child. We'd even organize a local beauty pageantry, do performances, just for fun, because there was nothing like funding or any backup or sponsorship or anything. Then now, when it became a bit harder to be able to, manage that, we moved to the church. So most of my performances were done at the church, Christ the King, Embakasi. That's where now I actually grew my talent.
Okay.
Yeah. My very first act was done in 1992.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
I don't want to say where I was in 1992, but proceed.
You don't have to. Yeah, so I was still a kid, basically. But that was where my very first performance and the love for performance started. So now from 92, 93, it became a routine doing Easter and Christmas shows at the church. And then, bit by bit, up to now 2007, when we had the post-election violence. And we, still with my friends, my team from Mizizi, we kept doing these outreach programs in the church and, preaching peace and that kind of a thing. And I remember there are times we would perform in church and people would cry because of the things we were talking about. Because we would watch news, hear people's stories, or hear whatever is in the news and script them, dramatize them, and bring them out as performance pieces. So almost every Sunday after the service, just before the priest gives his final blessings, he'd give us like 5 minutes. Then we would showcase something, and it would move people so much. And so we kept at it until we actually got invitations to perform at Event Complex. We also performed during that time, different venues that were trying to talk about the post-election violence. That was for the very first time we actually got a sponsor who sponsored our movement, a gentleman by the name Devi. He was the proprietor of DevTech Computers, those who know DevTech those days. Devi moved to the States. So Devi became like our sponsor for about a year. He, got us branded T-shirts and all. Sometimes paid our transport to and fro wherever we wanted to go and perform. Yeah. So performance just became basically part of my everyday life. Now, even when I went to college, I went to Thogoto Teachers College, I just went there and found that there are people also interested in drama, and we picked it up from there. And for the 2 years I was there, we performed at the Nationals, performed very well, actually in 2005. Yeah, that is when I think that's when we put Thogoto in the map.
I think that's actually when we first met.
Yes.
It was the trials. What was the name of that play?
The first play we did was
the trials.
No. The first play. How am I forgetting this play? And I was performing in it. Okay, the second one was the season of Mad Men.
The season of Mad Men.
Season of Mad Men, where we were basically talking about the political situation in the country, where we have these politicians who are brothers every other day until the political season comes. Yeah, they call it the silly season. So the silly season, issues happen, And then after Thogoto, I got invited back to help with the training. And I left Thogoto in 2006. So 2007 I was not there. 2008, 2009, 2010, I was always invited to help with the training. And at the same time, as we were training Thogoto, we were also training Thika Technical under Munene Wamumbi. And we did wonders those days, because we took both colleges to the national severally.
Okay, that's awesome. So like, I'm tracing your story and I'm seeing all this time bado sijapata film, sijapata TV.
No.
From 92 to now we are in 2000 and what? We are in 2010.
Yeah, from 92 to 2007.
Yeah, to 2007.
I was still basically doing just stage. Yes. Community theater, not even professional stage. Just community outreach and, improv performances, skits here and there. Let me take you back a bit. In 2003, in 2001, I joined an organization by the name Uzima Foundation. And it was basically a youth-based NGO. And at Uzima, that is where we learned a lot of things about advocacy, peer counseling, basically civic education. So even those days, I would still use my talent to perform. And we went to several national conventions, youth conventions organized by Uzima Foundation. Even at Uzima, I won several awards as an actor, as a director, as a performer. And that kept my fire burning for the desire to do more as far as performance is concerned. Then I went to college in 2004, finished in 2006. Then in 2007, still now after the post-election violence, we managed to convince the church council to fund a film that we did with the youth group, the church youth group. The film was called Second Chance. The church funded the film. We did it. We sold very well. And it gave a platform to many other youths for performances. Even now, after we had left, the culture of performing and, you know, keeping youth in church and all that continued. Yeah. Even after some time, now people now branch from just acting into other things like dancing, you know, contemporary dance, modern dances, you know, and that kept the young people in church. So I always tell people my talent was actually grown in church. Yeah.
Tulikuwa pale kwa Second Chance. But the second chance happens to be your first chance in film.
Yes. Yes. So
tell us about it. Alafu from there, like how did you now find yourself into film? Ama uliendelea na theater kiasi? Ama?
Yeah, we did Second Chance as a church project, a youth church project. It did really well. We even had a launch at Cabanas, and people came, and it was fun. Like, we were just doing our thing. You know, you young people just doing your thing. No, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's just the way you feel you want to do it.
Mshakuwa maceleb tayari?
Not really, but it was, we are doing our thing, you know. And then at that time, remember I'd just left college. I taught for a while and I felt, this is not my thing. Because of one thing, I hate confinement. I hate being told it has to be done this way and not any other way. Like, why are you telling me that it has to be this way and not in any other way? Can't we reinvent things? Can't we try any other way? I mean, why waste creativity if you have it? So teaching became stifling, so to speak. And I used to hate the fact that I would be sitting with adults to discuss children. And there was no fun in that. So I decided I'm not doing this anymore. So I left teaching. When I left teaching, that was like a moment of reckoning for me, because there was nothing else to do. Like gainfully. There was nothing to bring in money or resources or anything. So in this process of soul searching and trying to find myself, I always resorted to performance. And when I was not able to perform, I would write out my thoughts. So something else was also now growing in me, writing.
Okay. So let me take you back kidogo. Umekuwa job, you're teaching?
Yes.
For how many years?
About a year.
A year?
Yes.
Alafu umequit?
Yes.
How did that conversation go with your parents? Are you still in communication with them, and have they accepted that performance is your thing? And
now, at this point, my parents are not there. Now it's just me and my brothers. I'm the firstborn. So even my other relatives were looking at me and thinking, I think this boy has gone bonkers. Maybe he's depressed, you know, maybe he's going through a phase. Just let him be. So I became a taboo subject in the family.
The black sheep.
Yes. You're this guy that nobody really wants to face and and ask, what is this you're doing? So one time, one of my aunties was bold enough to, in an attempt to tell me off. And what I did, I told them, I'm going to do what I want. And I'm going to ask you to be patient with me for 2 years. If after those 2 years, whatever I want has not worked, I'll come back to you and apologize and even go to church and confess. And hopefully God will forgive me. Then I'll look for the place where I dropped my certificates, dust them up, and look for the nearest school and volunteer my services for free and never to ask for any pay. And 3 months later, I got my very first moment on TV. It was a TV commercial. So I got a TV commercial for Nation Media Group. It was an advert for Taifa Leo. Now, when we went for that audition for the advert, because someone just said, there's some auditions at the KNT. Anyone who is interested, come. So I went to the auditions, and it was intimidating. I think even intimidating is an understatement, because when I got there, every other person I have ever seen on TV was there.
Who was in the panel? Like who was auditioning?
The agency that was running this was ridiculous. The trio of KJ, Nyambane,
And Tony.
and Tony, yes. So actually, Tony was the one who was auditioning. And Tony is big. He has this deep voice. He can be intimidating if you're not good enough. And we auditioned. I was looking at that long line, and every time someone came, I would actually take a step back so that they come in front of me. Until someone was like, dude, don't you want to audition? Why are you here? Come on, go in. It is your turn. And I was like, this is it. I'm going either to make a fool of myself or I'm going to make it. There were 3 adverts. So they needed like 9 people, three men for each. So I was picked in for one of the adverts. And I remember very well, in my set of 3 was myself, George Muiruri, and Ben Mwangi. Ben Mwangi was used to be a teacher in Tahiti as the Swahili teacher. The guy who worked as the Swahili teacher, alikuwa anaitwa Mr. Nani. The name has slipped. Yeah, so now that was the first time I was now sitting up close with these people. So on the day of the advert, you're picked at 4 a.m., Bata Hilton. Anyone who has done these things in Kenya would know. The pickup point is always either Bata Hilton, or if they don't come for you from to your place. So we went on this set, and I'm looking at these people. I'm like, I don't fit at all. Of the 9 people, I was the only person who had never either done professional theater or professional TV. And we did our shoot at, there used to be a petrol station, Total petrol station on Dennis Pritt Road. It used to be Total then. I don't know if it's still Total.
Yeah, it's still Total.
It is still Total, yeah? That's where we did our shoot. And after that, we went signed some papers. That was the first time I was earning a lot of money. You know how much I was paid? I was paid 23,000 shillings. That was a lot of money because as a teacher I was earning 5,000.
And this is a one-day shoot?
Yes.
And that was a 1 month pay?
Yes.
Okay.
So for me that was like, wow. So that was another reason why I wanted to do this. So I did that TVC. Now, you know, sometimes, like they say, luck favors the hardworking. At this shoot, as when we were eating, of course, these are artists, you know, everyone is talking, you know, asking where's the next gig, where's the next audition, where's the next what, you know. And then people would crack jokes and all. So I would also throw in mine, you know. And Ben liked what he heard from me. And he mentioned my name to his producer, who would later become my boss. So at that time, we are now talking 2007, Tidy is on. So an opportunity arises at Tidy, and Benson mentioned to the producer that he knows someone who can play this particular role. They were looking for a janitor. And so I was called to go for the auditions at Nairobi Academy. I went there. We were three or two people, and I got picked. And then I got my very first opportunity to do TV. I joined Tidy High. Then I did 3 episodes. Unfortunately, the person who was writing then quit. So a new writer came in, and this new writer was only given a brief of the old actors, you know, the common faces.
The old cast.
Yeah, the old cast. And so my role died a natural death.
Whoa.
So I was back at home again on the road.
Basically written out of work.
Yes, totally.
Kuandikwa kazi ama kuandikwa out of work?
Yeah, kuandikwa out of work. So I was home again because I did Tidy into, I think the beginning of 2008, around April. Yes, around April. Actually, it was April because it was during the school holidays. So that's when I did Tidy. And I only did 3 episodes, and that was it. So March, May, June, July, I was home. Then come September, was it? I think September. Yeah, so I get a call, Catherine telling me, can you be at the CBD, particular place? It was like, yeah, she gave me a day, like, it was I think a Saturday. She told me on Monday, please come to Galitos at 7 in the morning. Be there, make sure you are there by 7. I was like, okay, cool. So I went, Galitos. I didn't even know what I was going for. Then I got picked with the other cast and crew. But then Madelo had not started airing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I could see these people are up to something. So I went there and asked them, I'm looking for Catherine. So the good thing is she had told the then PA that to pick me up from there. So we went to the set of Mother-in-Law, the initial set where Mother-in-Law really started. When I was given a script, went through it, realized, okay, it's quite a role. Huh?
Wait, so you've been called?
Yes.
No audition?
No.
You have already been given a role?
Yes. Actually, the reason why I was given this role, now the backstory of the role is that they had been talking about, in Mother-in-Law, about Mother-in-Law having 3 sons. 2 of them very successful, and 1 of them a total disaster. So for about 10 episodes, They had been talking about Charlie is in the village, he's a bad boy, he sold his mother's cow, he refused going to school, he's impregnated a girl. So there's these many accusations about Charlie. Click that subscription button. See you.